Feel refreshed, Ben? Energized? Are you ready to go?
No fine, no nothing. Like, oh, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. But viOLet against MiNiMaTh and our lovely observer Martin getting to pick all these lovely Zerg matches for Sulky. He was like looking at the grid. He's like, oh man, I got to see Sulky. Got to see Sulky.
Oh,
got to see Sulky crush.
Look at this. Yeah, you just give us a smiley face.
But MiNiMaTh is actually quite a decent Zerg player.
Tell me about him.
France.
I know absolutely nothing. He's French?
He's French. Team AAA or AAA. Depending on what you want to call it, a French-based team. And MiNiMaTh's been around for quite some time, but just as of recent months, I believe he got much, much better. So seeing him against viOLet, I'm interested in this, because viOLet just joined Team NV.
Team NV is a massive team. If you're someone that only follows StarCraft, yeah, if you don't know about Team NV, they are huge in the Call of Duty scene. viOLet is their first entry into StarCraft, period, I believe. It's like the first ever.
Sure is. And, you know, Team Envy, they also picked up one of the best, if in fact the second best CSGO team in the world, which was LDLC.
Ah.
So, you know, they made some big, big acquisitions there. viOLet, LDLC, so, yeah.
I'm glad to have them part of the StarCraft community. They seem like a bunch of cool chaps.
Me too. And viOLet, he's a lovely dude too. He's one of the Koreans that speaks very fluent English, comes on, has nice interviews, and he's one of the guys that came and stole all the money from us foreigners. So, you know.
Well, viOLet, I mean, you know.
He actually plays on the European and North American ladder too, which is nice.
Yeah, he actually off races a lot on North American ladder. I've played versus viOLet's Protoss quite a bit, and he wrecks me.
Really?
Yeah, he's quite good. He's quite good with his off race.
I've played his Protoss, never his Terran.
No, I've never played. I feel like I've mostly only ever played his Protoss.
He's also been like. I was watching VODs actually today, just to kind of like, you know, watch VODs of myself. And viOLet, like in pretty much every tournament I've played in where I was doing even remotely well, viOLet's been there to put a stop to me. So, you know, like I have a little bit of a hate spot in my heart for viOLet, but also like we have a very friendly rivalry, which unfortunately for him is more like him owning me. But I only managed to beat him, I think, in 2 tournaments, and in one of those tournaments it was a spot to go to China. Then the tournament got cancelled anyway, so it was like the one time I do beat viOLet, it gets shut down. But here in this game, we did have viOLet opening up very early speed on Inferno pools.
Yeah, he's set up to potentially get aggressive faster than MiNiMaTh ever possibly could. And viOLet, he's always been a guy in ZVZ to pull out the tricky stuff every now and again. viOLet is the kind of player, I would not even be surprised, because Rotterdam noticed this when we would cast so much of him in WCS America, where he'll have this speed. He could even just cancel this at any moment now and just start his lair. He did that quite a few times in ZVZ matches in the last year. Like, he'll show up with his links and be like, okay, everything's clear, whatever.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because
like my eyes are always... he doesn't always cancel it, but he does it occasionally enough that you always keep your eyes on it.
Right, depending on what he scouts here, he could be like, oh yeah, I'll cancel that out.
He's like, oh, you expanded. Do I need Zergling speed to defend?
And the fact that he's got guys back on gas now, and throws up, in fact, no, it's not him
going to go
straight
for a Baneling Nest.
It's his opponent going, oh yeah, both going for a Baneling Nest here, except he's got much earlier speed. So what's he going to try and do with this? Is he going to try and scout into the main base, held off by a queen wall here? So
maybe he just wants to get frisky, use his own, do a little aggression himself against MiNiMaTh. His Lings get a reasonable positioning because they have that Zergling speed faster, so he actually wins the fight. Even by creating that one Ling back, he's like, I want to save them 25 minerals. I want money's worth.
Wins the fight, kills a drone. 22 Lings on the way for MiNiMaTh here, though, so he is not fooling around. And this is pretty decently timed out with his Ling speed.
He's about to go ham. And viOLet starting up a spine crawler defensively. His Baneling Nest isn't done yet, though. He needs to start throwing up. He needs to get Banelings as soon as that is ready. And these 2 Lings are like, you what? You have no drones in your natural.
So they turn British for a second there and then turn back to American. But yeah, they've spotted everything that's going on. These Overlords do see that this huge swell of Lings going on to his side of the map do have Ling speed. He's got his Spinecrawler almost ready. A couple of Banelings here to greet
These Banelings are key. MiNiMaTh doesn't actually have too many on the way. Well, that Baneling did not really get too much. No, the one's up the ramp! Great detonation for viOLet. He basically picked off half the Lings there. They tried to come in here, focused on a drone or 2. Gets 2 drone kills. Not bad.
Super trapped by banelings, or by viOLet, by the way. Like the first 2 banes,
The
it was
ramp
like,
banes, man. It's always like, yo, let's just run up the ramp, run by all of his stuff, and then there's 2 banes that are like, well met, and kill everything.
That was decent though. 2 banelings for 6 lings. That's a trade that you can take with banelings. Like makes it almost worth it. Here, MiNiMaTh. In fact, they're both pretty similar on drones here. MiNiMaTh's now going to take the defensive posture with this spine crawler, but still has a lot of aggressive lings on the map. Like, they're both pretty even. Like, 33 drones, both producing 4 drones at a time. Roach Warren going up 4 viOLets here. Neither one of them taking, like, a huge leap in greed or tech.
My eyes are on, like, trying to see where the differences start to pop up. And having the Roach Warren faster is nice. I guess if you wanted to do, like, a big Roach Bane push, well, that Baneling just picked off a ton of lings. Still gets a drone or 2 for his money. But
absolutely
a lot of lings just got wrecked.
One thing that I am seeing here, this drone count. So MiNiMaTh's got a small advantage here. Throws up 3 extractors at once. Still a huge swell of lings out and gets lair. So it looks like he will be heading for mutas in this game.
I feel like either one of these players could have tried for the lair faster. I'm actually quite surprised that viOLet still has yet to start a lair. He's finishing up 3 overlords. I mean, maybe just goes to like a massive Roach Bane push. I don't know. Now he's taking another gas. So
one of the harsh things for this map is how wide open the natural is. It makes it so hard to defend it. Like you need a good number of spies to defend this huge opening here. So it makes these early encounters where you've got like banelings, very easy to spread out your banelings. And just like we're seeing in 2 series now between ZVZ that, yeah, these guys are playing very aggressive. No lair on the way for viOLet. So he won't be getting Roach speed anytime soon. So what's he going for here? Huge swell of lings as well with this. So, you know, the only thing that I could imagine that he's going to do with this is just march across the map and try and go for a Roach Bane all-in.
That seems to be the only reasonable thing to do at this point. Like, if you're not going to get your lair and you're not going to take a 3rd base, your opponent's just going to get way ahead of you with that tech. So... the only thing that is nice that you mentioned earlier about how wide open this ramp is, without a creep tumor here, he can't even assure that the spine crawlers will have a hand in this battle. Because if he tries to like just move down the bottom, then it gets tricky. And he's even repositioning one of these spines to the right side.
Oh wow! So he gets to see that his opponent is indeed going to Roach. Yeah, he is indeed Roach Bane all-inning him. Does have Roach speed on the way. He made a lot of Roaches to kind of make up.
Oh, he's trying to trade Banelings. Not really getting too much of what he wanted there. He loses most of his Banelings, actually, but still, a good number of Roaches actually here for MiNiMaTh, and I'm really not too sure that viOLet's going to be able to bust this.
I'm liking MiNiMaTh's position here, as long as he doesn't lose a lot of lings on those Banelings, which he did not.
Where are the queens? Where are the queens? He's got to have some energy for a transfuse somewhere, no? Or at least a bit of damage.
Energy, but
I think the transfuser on those spines have done a really good job.
He's still well ahead in supply, though. He's got higher amount of drones, a higher army supply, and soon he's got Roach speed on the way too. And viOLet, he's retreating, but soon, like in a good 20 seconds, in-game seconds
I'm getting the impression that viOLet may have underestimated his opponent a little bit here. But he's swelling up, he's getting ready for another push, and MiNiMaTh is not rebuilding those spines. viOLet did start a lair behind all of this, by the way, which is going to finish him. The biggest issue is that you won't have Roach speed, so you can't take a 3rd base.
Man. Like, if MiNiMaTh knew what kind of position he was in, like, he's
just going to go for the gold.
Wow, that's ballsy, but it's the kind of play that viOLet has to do to get back into this.
Yeah, I think all things considered, the amount that he invested into that push, he has to do something this risky, or he's dead out anyway.
What's this huge swell of blue on the left side of the map? Is that lings?
It's just a bunch of lings.
So, viOLet...
But he doesn't have enough gas to actually make Banelings. Like, not a lot of Banelings.
He's looking to deal damage upon this move out here. Yeah. But, very smart play by MiNiMaTh.
Yeah,
he has recognized this.
Banes. There's some Banelings here, actually. Well, that one didn't really get too much.
Oh, the ramp Bane! The ramp Bane! Oh!
I'm beginning to feel like a ramp Bane. Ramp Bane. No.
Are you singing? Like, I mean, I would have joined in if I knew what you were doing, but like, I've never heard anything like that before.
We'll have to listen to Eminem later.
Oh, it's Eminem?
Yeah, we can bond over that.
Oh my. Okay, so MiNiMaTh here though, definitely with the advantage. Like, he has Roach speed, he has a earlier upgrade going to kick him pretty soon.
Yeah, not having the upgrade yet complicates things, but I mean, he can still get away with having this gold base up so much earlier, because you don't even need to build drones for this. You just pull some from your other bases, and you have an income lead once they actually start mining.
Certainly. And now MiNiMaTh is also getting the gold base, and you may be guys like, hey, our gold base is much riskier.
Look how closely he's found that Overlord. That's kind of adorable.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah. So let's see, as the +1 attack is finishing up for MiNiMaTh, he starts up his next one, and +2. So it's going to finish soon for viOLet. He moved a bunch of his roaches to his main base, but viOLet does... I'm really trying to see where he gets an edge here. Like, the gold base finished faster. That's the only clear thing that I can really see for him. But the supply is still quite close between both players. You just have that issue of eventually... I guess if the upgrade's not done yet, it's not that big of a deal. This gold base has been mining much, much longer for viOLet.
Very well saturated by viOLet, so we see the incoming's very close, and the supply is very close. And here, viOLet, with the superior experience, in fact, the supply is so close here between these two players.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good spread. MiNiMaTh on top of viOLet's army. He even has a couple of his units on like the high ground
MiNiMaTh's going to take this. He's going to take this fight, though.
Yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting, mate. He just had the concave in Roach versus Roach is so important when you don't have the upgrade advantage, especially considering how weak all these roaches left. So like viOLet doesn't want to fight anymore because he, like, really this is a situation you wish you had burrow so that you could just heal all these guys real quick, but you don't have that option anymore, and he's retreating to this spine. But that spine's in the middle of nowhere. There's no reason for MiNiMaTh to fight versus that spine crawler.
Certainly not. Does kind of reposition it over by the gold base. These roaches on top do deny mining. Even if it's only for like a few seconds here, it's still
That's a lot of cash.
Indeed it is. I mean, a good 600-700 minerals from that base there that he just...
And now MiNiMaTh is starting to mine off of his gold, so the income fluctuates back in the other direction, and I'm really, really liking his position. Look, because both players are going to get their +2 attack, sure, close to the same time, but MiNiMaTh has the Carapace, and then his roaches just, they can tank one more hit.
MiNiMaTh's playing extremely solid this game, Nathanius. Like, you didn't really know of MiNiMaTh, but here he is pushing viOLet to the absolute limit. And
he's wrecking face.
Yeah, he's doing it very, very well. Like, he doesn't even really need to take a fight. Like, he didn't need to take a fight right there and then where he did, but he won it because he's got that extra, like, 150 resources in the armor upgrade. That's finished now. His +2 is going to finish very shortly too. And if he takes advantage of that window, which doesn't look like he's going to actually, he is retreating here across the map.
Yeah.
A little unusual there.
I mean, he's still ahead. His army is still better because of the Carapace upgrade, so...
He's also mining more than his opponent. Like, yeah, he's got 51 drones to 43.
That is generally a good thing to Muslim.
Generally a good thing. I mean...
I like to have more money than my opponents. Unless it means I wasn't spending it. Then I'm sad. Then I'm very sad.
Yeah, I like to be mining more than my opponent. Let's just leave it at that. But here, viOLet playing pretty aggressive. But, you know... He's got less of an army here, and I think he's quickly realizing that. And
the position is also still really good because MiNiMaTh can still get most of his roaches firing at once. A couple of them are going to be, of course, always moving back behind because of how short the range is. But the concave starts to favor viOLet a little bit. I still like the Carapace for MiNiMaTh. Like, he's still ahead in supply, but he just wants to back up and go to the other roaches that he has finishing up. Since, as you said, he's making more money.
That was a fight much closer to viOLet's base, so reinforcements hit his army that much quicker, which made the fight kind of sway in viOLet's advantage just a tad there.
Even though MiNiMaTh's units are technically better.
Right, and viOLet is trying to catch up on that armor upgrade now, but MiNiMaTh just one step ahead. Now he's getting ready for that switch into Hydras, which... Roaches are the best unit in ZVZ just because of how cost-efficient they are.
MiNiMaTh is banking a lot of resources because of that. He doesn't have as many roaches coming out behind this as he might have otherwise liked to. Still... going for this fight?
Oh, he's got a great concave here, though. Slowly winning at the bottom of the fight, and now winning at the top two. Hunts down viOLet with this huge amount of roaches. Even tries to deny mining at the gold base there, and GG is called by viOLet. So 1-0 by MiNiMaTh here.
I think viOLet really regrets going for that Roach Bane push. Maybe he was thinking, he's like, maybe viOLet hasn't heard too much about MiNiMaTh, or he just assumed that he would be able to beat him with a push like that, or maybe he's done it before, but it put him like incredibly far behind with how fast the lair got done for MiNiMaTh.
I mean, it's an awkward map to defend on because like it's such a good map to attack on, which makes it a hard map to defend on just because of how open that natural is. But MiNiMaTh actually handled and read everything very well there. viOLet went for a very early speed and late hatchery, which meant that he had to do something to get into that game. But, you know, Infernal Pools, that's kind of like... It's kind of a weird map out the way now for the CVZ series, so they can kind of switch into more normal play.
The second map is Overgrowth, which,
well,
generally speaking,
like the most standard map of the pool.
You see the most normal games on Overgrowth.
Certainly, certainly. I'm really liking your blue top on the camera, by the way, Nathan.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I'm glad. Yeah. I like your blue top as well, Ben.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
You know, it was great because I didn't wear this on the flight over here. I had like my Swedish green hoodie.
You were like, which one is Ben going to be wearing?
Yeah, I was hoping. I was thinking in the back of my mind. I'm like, well, I know that I'm going to get off the plane. I'm not going to have time to actually go to the apartment. I'm just going to come straight to the studio, and I really hope Ben is wearing his jumper. And then lo and behold, Ben was. I was like, guys, I can't cast yet. I need to change. And I had it. I packed all 3 jumpers just to make sure I could match.
They're super nice, though.
They are. I mean, they're comfortable. I think they look good. What can I say?
We should just totally get sponsored by these.
We just need to become like, the esports fashion advisors.
Fashion advisors?
Yeah. Yeah.
The dynamic duo?
I think we could do it.
Of fashion?
Yeah.
If only they knew we were wearing the same shoes and jeans and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we're totally not.
I think we've got a good look. I think we've got a good look going on here.
Me too. Anyhow, MiNiMaTh 1-0 up against viOLet, so this is really cool. But for the next series, Martin, we have to get some other races going.
Yeah, let's get some TVZ. I'm sure.
Or even like PVT.
PVT, yeah. I'm up for whatever.
Like we have a lot of...
This is the part we remind you that we're both Terrans and that we sound smartest when we're casting Terrans, so feed us.
Yeah, when I'm watching people make blobs from larvae and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I think this is a great idea.
That doesn't run off bullets.
Yeah, like... But anyhow, like, I'm
still surprised that viOLet's not up 1-0, because Ooh.
viOLet bringing the pain.
So the wheel of cheese begins to turn faster.
Yeah. And what's this build good against, guys? Well, if you don't know, a 10 pool is very good against hatch first. You get to cancel the hatchery, and you put your opponent instantly on the back foot.
And if you're really crazy, you can try to run in and get drones. But I think forcing the cancel on the hatch is like always the safe move.
Right, so what viOLet's hoping for here is that he doesn't run into like an early pool, but not like a 10 pool or something. Hopefully not running into like a 14 pool here. Yeah. Like viOLet isn't following this up with a gas.
Guess what, MiNiMaTh's? He's going for that hatch first, Muslim.
Now, within regards to what beats what, this is definitely a nice opening for viOLet. Is this a straight-up win? No, not by any means, but it's definitely like a soft edge in this match.
Yeah, well, depending on how many drones he builds, and he's going up to 16 workers. MiNiMaTh built 2 drones after that hatch.
Ew.
If he gets a gas and then gets his pool, things can get ugly really fast. So it's a 16 pool for MiNiMaTh. It's not the fastest he could have gotten it, so these lings might have even a little bit more time to play the Muslim.
Does see these lings, so we'll see what happens in the production tab. Like, that's going to be a big deal here. viOLet's still not making a gas at this point in time. Will most likely add on a hatchery in fact, adds the gas. So, yeah, he's going to be very happy once he gets to this base and sees that the hatchery's going up.
viOLet wants to go ham now, so he should be able to force a cancel on the hatchery. Is he gonna be crazy? No. Okay, he's gonna target this one. I think it's always smart because the drones at this point, you think lings are good, but until you have like 8 or 10 lings, a drone pool can actually deal with this. So you want to make sure you force a cancel on the hatch because then later on it just becomes increasingly difficult.
Oh wow, we waited until the last second there to do that, and does try mineral walk through, but once the drone gets to creep, it will die because it doesn't gain a speed advantage, whereas the Zerglings do.
And he's trying to build a spine, and I think you actually get the wraparound on this. Like,
oh dear.
You're commentators, and we talk about this all the time, but even those 2 drones that you build after you start that hatchery, like if he immediately gets his pool, this queen is pretty much done right now. The lings were already out, and it's so much easier of a hold to make, but he just didn't know, and he's paying for it. He's paying the iron price to Muslim.
This is GG. This is GG. I feel this is GG. I mean, he's got a superior drone lead.
Borderline impossible to recover from because both players... Well, first of all, viOLet, because he opened with the faster pool, has a faster queen. So it's not like, oh, he's on one base, he can just inject and crank out drones. No, viOLet also has that option. viOLet's going to expand. And then, as you said, the drone count. both players have the same capability to make units. So if both players just make drones,
so really bad
MiNiMaTh
things
can't really catch up.
Yeah, really bad things that happen for MiNiMaTh there. So his spawning pool position, it actually meant that his drones kind of funneled through
Yeah,
there.
when he tried to run them away, they got wrecked.
Yeah, they just got absolutely smacked down. So, like, is this spawning pool position a good one? Well, after seeing that, I would not do that in ZVZ ever again because it just worked out against him. Here we have viOLet opening up. Oh, he's going to get speed much earlier. He's going for the Baneling Nest. So he knows he's dealt enough damage that his opponent has to play greedy to try and get back into this. And he's totally going to take advantage of knowledge now. Like StarCraft 2, it's very often it's kind of like a mathematical equation. Like, okay, I've seen X and Y. What could that gap possibly be? Okay, it's going to be greed. If I do this and that, I am going to beat him very, very easily. So he's marching out across the map. He's got the Baneling Nest ready. He's got speed much earlier than his opponent. He's also got a superior number of lings. So viOLet's doing everything. He's handling this situation as good as he possibly can. Gets to see everything here. The Queen is off creep. If he can get a wraparound on the Queen, but
that could be it. Okay, so the lings come down. They are slow.
Zerglings do join the fray for MiNiMaTh, but he's against Banelings.
The Banelings are starting up. Yeah.
This is when it gets truly problematic, and MiNiMaTh, you know, he's fighting a losing battle. He's a guy fighting with his left hand right now. This is if he's right-handed. You know?
Yeah, well.
Otherwise, it's just like...
In that case, then he's just using the other hand, basically. That's all that needs to be said. Good target fire on the Banelings by the Queen for MiNiMaTh, but I'm not really sure that it matters at this point. There's just so much for viOLet. The Banes pick off all the lings. He's going to kill this spine before it finishes.
Oh, no cancel either, so that is a drone down.
Just gets to work on the drones. He can build more Banelings if he wants.
Oh, he left back his 3 injured Zerglings.
The injured one? Look, wow.
And he left back...
He is paying attention to every detail. He is painting...
Except these lings. These lings are like the most happy lings.
Those lings could have won the fight.
Wow, those lings.
That was actually...
I tell you what, like that went a lot...
That's like a potential throw type move. viOLet's still ahead in workers, but that is pretty rough.
Like, yeah, don't get us wrong, guys. That is... it's still viOLet being very ahead, but right-clicking on the hatchery there with like 8 or so lings and losing all your 8 lings to a good 3 or so, like, not a good move. But the reason that we were both very impressed by the fact that he left those injured Zerglings behind there...
When you morph injured units, when they finish morphing, they get all the health back.
They get all the health back, so that was a very smart and very efficient move by viOLet.
He's on top of that hatchery once again. He's trying to snipe it, and he will pick it off.
What was like a throw by losing all those Zerglings turned out to be a pretty smart move.
Yeah, he just softened it up to come in a little bit later.
The Surgeon Zerg, man.
Yeah.
Why do they call him the Surgeon Zerg? Did he wear like a
I don't know
mask?
what. I'm not aware that he's called the Surgeon Zerg by anybody.
I
know he wore a mask because he was sick at WCS, but I've never seen him wear one prior.
Me neither, but they called him Surgeon Zerg still.
Someone was trying to hype. Wow, that was Baneling connections were pretty good. GG.
The hugger.
That was the seal of the deal. I mean, after losing the natural, the game pretty much tipped out of control. The game kind of tipped out of control when he was up 18 drones to 11. Let's just be real.
You know, when you do a 10 pool and you kill like 7 or 8 drones in the start and get away with your lings, things are kind of feeling pretty good.
Yeah. You know, if you want to compare it, since we've seen a lot of Zerg games today, to Terran, you know, it's like when you open up with like a proxy Reaper that delays it, like you don't build, like you do like an 888, and it's like you kill a couple SCVs, but you actually do need to kill quite a bit to make it worth it because you yourself put yourself so far behind in worker count, and viOLet pretty much did that with his attack. Like, he cut a lot to have those Zerglings, so it's not just impressive that he got drone kills, because that's like the whole point of the build, but to get as many as he did was what really put him in a position where it was like, well, he shouldn't be able to lose now, because a lot of times you'll see Zerg players hold fast pools like that, and you know, if you get your spawning pool at 15 supply, or even just right after the hatchery, I think if you get it right after the hatch and you don't build those 2 drones, then your queen should be out, like because the lings were in his mineral line when the queen was like 20 seconds away, so I think he could have had it out, like if he went straight for it, but it's hard, you know, it's hard to know.
I mean, like the idea behind what he did was, okay, if my opponent goes for hatch first as well, and does the greediest build possible, then like my build's going to be fine because it's also the greediest build that I can possibly do. Or if my opponent goes for like 15 pool, which is the safest build you can do, I'm going to be really ahead. But like he was against the one build that he didn't want to be against, you know, doing that. So you know, a little bit of a Nice flip of the coin by viOLet there.
And he got wrecked.
It's one that you have to take into account when you play StarCraft. And, you know, got viOLet back into this series. And the ultimate thing is, his opponent didn't react very well to it. So viOLet took very good advantage.
Next map, Expedition Lost. For this Zerg versus Zerg 2-player map. About as easy to scout, I'd say, as Overgrowth. Maybe a little bit easier since you can hide your Overlord more easily behind the natural. I don't know.
I miss Scrap Station for ZVZ.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Because your Overlord gets to your opponent's base.
Where did that come? Because your Overlord basically spawns in your opponent's base.
Then there's no cheese, you know?
Scrap Station was the only map where the Planetary Fortress rush was viable, man.
Why?
It was a dream. Because you'd have so few workers. I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, that's kind of silly. You just put one unit under it and it can't land. I was thinking about like dropping SCVs out of the command center to fight against a probe that would block it.
You know, map that it's viable on. Why? Actually, no.
I was actually just thinking about SCV rushing because you could just pick all your SCVs up and fly across. Then one worker gets left behind, so you have to go back for it.
Or he just takes the long way around and probably gets there at the same speed anyway as the command center.
Not on Scrap Station.
Really?
No.
I think it'd be pretty close.
Walking across Scrap Station versus flying the command center over?
Yeah.
No.
I think it's pretty close.
No.
You don't think it's close?
No.
Wow, okay.
The command center doesn't need to get to the opponent's spawn. It just needs to get into their base.
I'm actually willing... I kind of want to have a bet on this, Nathan.
You want to bet that an SCV makes it across Scrap Station before a command center floats to the other main?
Yeah. Almost, yeah. I think, like, how far are you, like, imagining this space between the bases? Like,
it's not far at all. You can hit another... If you played against a Protoss... I played against a Protoss once on that map for lulz, for no reason at all. And the Tempest could shoot my base from his main.
No, you couldn't.
Yes!
Were you playing against Kevin?
A Scrap Station! No, it wasn't Kevin.
Oh, okay. Like, I'm pretty sure that you're remembering this and, like, giving it zero benefit of the doubt kind of thing. Like, you're remembering it as its worst story possible.
It's like Close Air Spawns Metalopolis.
By the way, like, the thing that happened in the previous game, so viOLet went for a 10 pool. That's immediately worked in his favor here. His opponent's going for the safe 15 pool. He's going for the hatch first, so viOLet again.
Yeah, so viOLet gets an economic lead just based on the build order opening.
Yeah, and I mean, like, viOLet, very good series player, and he's utilizing that to his advantage here. Started off game one.
He struck fear in the heart of his enemy.
Yeah. Like, game one, it was like a 14-14 with very early gas. So, you know, if you are a ZVZ player, like, just because you lose on ladder to this random Zerg in ZVZ, don't worry about it. When it comes to a series, a lot of mind games are involved too. So, like, one of the things that made Vortex a very, very good Zerg player was the fact that in one game of the series, he's going to play crazy, and you don't know which game it's going to be.
He had Vortex had some of the greatest cheeses in ZVZ. So viOLet has opened up with a Spore Crawler tucked in the back of his base. He's going to snipe this Overlord.
Oh, I love it! I love it!
You know what this? You know what this is?
Cats build.
viOLet joins a team that is known for their Call of Duty, and he builds Spore Crawler, and he's going to 360 no scope this Overlord.
I wish there was like some loud dubstep music going on, but oh man, this. Oh, that is so. Like, you know, you barely ever see this kind of stuff now, but like with this Spore Crawler, do you now march it across the map?
What?
Because like,
no, do you?
I think so. Like,
what?
I mean, what good is it going to do in your base now? If you
I guess it doesn't have much utility at all.
If you're viOLet and
he's on the longest quest.
I mean, like, if you make quite a few links now to go and support that guy. He's actually making a defensive spine as well. If you make a few...
he needs a spine to defend the...
Like, like, ideally, what's that Spore going to achieve in your base?
Yeah, I guess it's not
if you go plant it
your opponent's not going to be foolish enough to fly another Overlord in.
The thing is, like, he's going to be producing Overlords at some point, so if you land that near a hatchery with the larvae and stuff, like, if you can get an Overlord
but you shouldn't be able to plant it, though.
No, but still, it's going to be a scout.
I mean, you might as well use it, I guess, yeah.
I mean, that was 125 minerals, including the drone.
Oh my god, they're going to... Oh. No, he doesn't know. Now he knows. Unfortunately, the slowest quest ever has been thwarted.
Getting blocked.
It's like, no.
Whoa, double evac from viOLet with 0 gas. So, okay, he's just making a wall.
You really wanted a Terran game, huh? Double eBay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trapped. No. Let me go.
Well, you know, delay those 4 lings. Okay, very early armor by MiNiMaTh here.
Yeah, Carapace. So that
Early lab
you're
by
playing
viOLet?
Lings. If you're playing Carapace, you're playing Lings, man. You want to have that extra defense against Banelings so that your Lings don't die in one shot.
Now, this is one of the coolest games of the series so far. Like, we have two very different Zerg styles and a pretty cool Spore Crawler opening from viOLet here. So, Roach Warren from both of them. The armor is good for the Lings against Banelings. It's also just good for the Roaches eventually anyway. Of course, attack is better, as that increases by 2 per tick, but having armor already on them, that's also pretty good too. So here, we're going to see, like, kind of two very different styles meet, but they're eventually going to get to the same thing, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Okay, there's the flood of Lings. I was kind of waiting for this out of MiNiMaTh. That Carapace is, like, when you're going for Roaches, as you just said, the 2 damage points per upgrade is significantly more useful because you kill Lings and other Roaches so much faster than getting a fast Carapace. This third base, though, is going to be delayed.
Most annoying Ling in the world. Like, he'll be able to deny that.
Considering how fast MiNiMaTh took his third base, this is actually a very big win for him because he, well...
Look at this large amount of
that
Lings. Yeah, look at this large amount of Lings. Like, this isn't just like, I've made 10 Lings, I'm going to attack you.
He's got so many that with the Carapace, like, obviously his Lings, since they have an upgrade and viOLets don't, like, they would win in a 1v1 fight. But even the Roaches is going to be tricky because +1 Roach attack won't allow them to two-shot anymore. So he gets this around. Carapace is not actually done just yet. Now it's finished up and it's become a little bit more hardy. And it's showing. It's quite difficult. Even the Queen actually struggling to kill these Zerglings.
Is this going to work out, though? I mean, that Spine Crawler is well played.
Yeah, the Roaches are still doing their thing, man. They're still roaching.
I mean, really nice positioning by viOLet here. He is eventually going to hold on here. So what happened during that, like, besides the little fight here? So we have a little bit of a drone lead for MiNiMaTh. His third base is earlier. Roach speed much earlier for viOLet, though. His +1 attack much earlier, too. And he's not planning on droning up this third anytime soon. He's massing Roaches now. Like, he held off that Ling attack. Yeah. He saw the +1 armor, too.
Here's the thing. If MiNiMaTh starts to build Roaches right now, which, by the way, he's starting to build Roaches right now, Carapace upgrade, well, like, it blocks, it makes you need 1 less hit to take, to die your Roach. But the first attack upgrade gives you 2 less hits to kill another Roach. So it's still better to have +1 attack than +1 Carapace for Roaches at this stage of the game. So, like, viOLet's Roaches are still just better, even if they both only have, like, +1 either way.
That's a large amount of Roaches marching over here, though. And the 3 Roaches just get in here, and that's a very good number to have in a mineral line. Takes 3 Roaches to one-shot a drone. Roach speed very close to finishing for MiNiMaTh here, though. The supplies are very, very even.
The one nice thing is that, of course, the Zerglings are a little bit more tanky because they have that Carapace, but there's just too many Roaches, and they win the Roach v Roach fight quite easily. Solid
concave. 11 drones down here for MiNiMaTh, so really, really solid strategy here by viOLet.
Yeah, and at the same time, viOLet's mining off his third. It ain't nothing but a thing. He's feeling quite comfortable.
Oh, look at that drone lead now for viOLet too. 61 to 42.
It's disgusting to Muslim. He's got so many workers. He's pulling in so much money. He's filthy rich.
These superlings coming in here. We'll be able to pick off a few extra Roaches.
Yeah. But these Roaches, like, they've already more than done their job for viOLet. Like, he has so much more income than his opponent that, you know, this is the time that it takes to cross the map. He's already built enough Roaches to defend this small force, and I feel like he should be okay. A big flood of Lings is going to come as well. Maybe even a good idea for viOLet to just knock down the rocks.
To just kind of avoid getting attacked from that angle.
Close off one angle that he could be pushed from. I would like to see, especially considering that this is where the army is forming.
I mean, one of the nasty things about that is if your opponent starts attacking those rocks to get into your main, it makes it a bit awkward darting between your third and main.
That's a good point. That's a good point. He's going to push it now. A lot of the Lings are coming into the Lings are just cannon fodder, while the Roaches for MiNiMaTh get up close and personal. viOLet is even going to pull his own drones. He's realizing that these Lings are actually quite a big problem. His +2 upgrade is not complete. He said he is pumping out just Roaches, but it seems that third base economy hasn't completely paid off for it yet.
Is MiNiMaTh doing this? And, like, MiNiMaTh, he's making a lot of Lings in the meantime,
I really liked viOLet's position in this game, but MiNiMaTh hitting just before these upgrades complete has completely boned him. Now, keep in mind, he just lost 20 drones, but both players are now even on workers, and there's still an upgrade advantage, a substantial one now at that for viOLet. He's also hasn't hit yet, Nathan. These Lings yet.
It hasn't hit yet. And these lings, he made lings instead of roaches to enforce this army. And these lings still have +1 armor, so they're not getting one shot or two shot.
Now that the +2 is finished, they will again. But yeah, definitely, MiNiMaTh could not have picked a better time to go for that counter because like, if he had tried to push against the superior upgrades, he wouldn't have gotten those drone kills. Like nowhere near as much damage done. So
what a close bit of fighting, though.
Interesting set of engagements in this ZVZ.
So I think viOLet definitely overdrone just a tad there and like didn't anticipate that counterattack. And now he's across this side of the map where MiNiMaTh is. And despite having an upgrade advantage, these armies are very closely matched here. MiNiMaTh taking a bit of a supply lead, but there's quite a few minerals or resources to spend for viOLet here. viOLet does have a 10 drone lead. Doesn't look like MiNiMaTh has any intention of droning up again. And viOLet still droning up here, so maybe he thinks his opponent droned up there too, and he's just trying to, oh, man, suicidal roaches. Don't want to be wasting anything at this point in time, but he is starting to take out these rocks. Ooh, wow, they're both kind of giving it a...
playing with fire.
I mean, viOLet's got himself into a really nice position.
Yeah, if viOLet could get a big fight right now, I think that's what he would want with the +2 upgrade. But once +2 finishes for MiNiMaTh, then it comes down again all to the positioning, the concave, and in this situation, he's trying to get the advantage now, opening up some more attack paths.
You're trying to get into my main, are you, through this very little valley?
Come on through. One roach at a time, please. Orderly queue.
Orderly queue, orderly fashion. Nice little counter-attack here by MiNiMaTh, but he is met by an equal number of roaches, but they are...
I mean, sniping these drones is pretty nice, because they were about even on workers, but now he's taking a couple worker advantage.
Nice focus fire there, too. So 6 drones for his 3 roaches. That's a trade that I take.
And the larva being spent to rebuild those drones for viOLet is larva that's being spent on just roaches for MiNiMaTh.
Look how close these guys are in supply. Like, 19, 18 roaches at once. Burrow and tunneling speed coming out for viOLet.
This is what I like to see. This is the good stuff. This is what makes those roaches even more cost-effective. You can win a fight, or at least get away with your forces, because just being able to heal them faster is nice.
A very back-and-forth ZVZ, though. Like
this game 3 was actually been a really good ZVZ. This has actually been like a really good, entertaining ZVZ. Not quite as dominating a performance from either player as we saw in the first 2 maps.
Yeah, and I mean, for moments in this game, it was like, oh, viOLet's won this. And it was like, holy crap, MiNiMaTh's coming back.
MiNiMaTh's got some fancy footwork. Now, keep in mind that viOLet is maxed. Some of his units are still in production. If MiNiMaTh goes for a fight, he could just be stepping into his own grave. So he needs to be very careful with how he approaches this.
MiNiMaTh's the guy with +2 armor on the way, too. So viOLet kind of skipped out on that one.
Yeah, the burrow and the burrow move, like they're making some divergent choices. And I love these drone snipes. He's gotten so many drone snipes.
He definitely has. I mean, 9 here, 10.
viOLet is rebuilding the drones, but he could also just end up with more army supply if he were to just spend that supply on roaches instead.
Yeah, but those are like 3 roaches for 10 drones this time, and that's 3 roaches for 6 drones prior.
Considering how cheap roaches are.
I really like MiNiMaTh's way of playing this, because he's trying to take these little engagements and just saying like, hey, I'm kind of behind here. I'm going to try and take efficient trades over the map. So
does MiNiMaTh have an overseer with his army?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so, yeah. There we are.
Okay, very, very important to note that.
Ooh, this is the fight to end all fights by the looks of it,
This concave for viOLet is absolutely nuts. The way his forces are spread out. Okay, he's balling himself up a little bit, but it's still some of these roaches on the south side, and that +2 carapace didn't kick in quite yet for MiNiMaTh, so I feel like this spread just gives viOLet the edge. He had more roaches at the beginning of the fight, and it looks like he's going to have more roaches at the end. Yeah,
and that lack of gas for MiNiMaTh too. He can't max out on roaches like he wants to, and even if he did want to, viOLet's taken an incredibly good fight. He had roaches in the mineral line that whole time, so denies mining off this main base, and this looks like it will be a viOLet victory here.
Yeah, fantastic play by viOLet moving into the main, and you know, MiNiMaTh has the advantage of being faster reinforced, but if you look at the mini-map, there's just so many coming across for viOLet. His reinforcements are moving in at an exceptionally fast rate, and after the damage he just did, I don't see too much of a way for him to pull back here. He's like, move these roaches to the 3rd. They heal so quickly with that burrow that he can actually just shut down the 3rd with these now. And then another big army's in the main base.
Yeah, bigger army on every front here, doubling the supply of his opponent. MiNiMaTh should be calling GG pretty soon here, trying to fend off for as long as he can. And realistically, GG is called. Like, realistically, he did put up an awesome fight.